Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Very, very concerning, but somehow expected change of events or event. The Prime Minister of Slovakia, Robert Fico, was shot. Today, Wednesday, the 15th of May, 2024. Remember, Robert Fico, he was one as Orban. So, che bono? Who benefits? He was against giving more aid or giving weapons to Ukraine, was against certain European Union policies, garbage policies, and he got shot. Now remember, let's say one idiot who would support the Al Capone's plantation. Let's say, let's pick the victim, Macron or Chancellor Olaf Scholz would have been shot. What do you think these guys will say? I tell you immediately, that's the Russians. Now, will they say it's the Ukrainians? Because after all, Fico opposed Ukraine most of all. Or could it be the Russians and be blamed on the Ukrainians? But hey, everything is possible. But why do you want to do that? So then these guys can point at what? They will spin anyway the tragic event. So let's read what's going on with Slovak Prime Minister Fico, who got shot. This is, 10 minutes ago or so. So here you have it. Russia Today, Slovak Prime Minister Fico shot. Media. Robert Fico was wounded after multiple shots were fired, Slovak media has reported. They don't like democracy, right? When they lose. Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico was shot and wounded on Wednesday, according to media reports. Multiple shots were reportedly fired at politician as he greeted the public after a government meeting. The shooting took place in the town of Handlova, as Fico shook hands with members of the public outside government buildings. Slovakia's TA3 News reported 4 shots rang out, the network's source said, with one of them striking the prime minister. Fico collapsed and was carried to a car by his security detail, the network stated. He was taken to a nearby hospital and his condition is unclear. The suspect was restrained by police and arrested. President Zuzana Kaputova condemned, and I'm quoting, the brutal and reckless attack on Fico and wished him a lot of strength at his critical moment. Fico took office in 2023 after serving 2 stints as prime minister from 2006 to 2010 and from 2012 to 2018. He immediately halted the previous government's policy of military aid to Ukraine and called for negotiated settlement between Moscow and Kiev. Reasonable, clear, realistic proposal. But realistic, that's the way it should be. We know that reality is a little bit different because we got these guys here who want to continue. His neutral stance on the conflict has led to clashes with Brussels and pro-Western figures within Slovakia like Kaputova. So, I don't know if he's already dead or not, but let's see. I don't see anything here in another media. It's not in, see, this is the other Russians. But if I go on, let's do it like this. So this is Yahoo. I'm just going to refresh it. Maybe it's going to come. No, I don't see anything. Let's see Fico. Anything here? I don't see his face anywhere. So let's see Fico. If I say Fico, let's see what they give me. Fico, Robert. Isn't that the way you, right? Right there, independent news. Slovakia Prime Minister shot Putin's ally. See, he was shot and is a Putin ally. That means you know who's the other, who shot him, right? Was injured in a shooting of the government. All right, wounded in shooting, Prime Minister. I want to see if he's still alive or not. I mean, I like the guy, obviously, but why obviously? Because I think he's reasonable. Injured in shooting, injured, not dead yet. This is 30 minutes ago, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 60 minutes ago. So this happened within what? An hour? So, who did it? Well, obviously, if I were to analyze this as these guys analyze that, let's say someone is poisoned, right, in London, immediately you say it's the Russians, because Novichok, or whatever that's called, it was found in the system, and he's not dead. Another garbage. If you know Novichok a little bit, and you go to see Jesus or whomever. Right? So immediately it's the Russians. It's like using, I don't know, a Remington to shoot someone and say, hey, it was the Americans who shot him. I mean, why? Because they used the Remington. The same here with the Novichok, with the poisoning. But anyway, immediately they say it was the Russians. When those Ukrainians got in altercation in Germany, it was the Russians. It was the Russians. It was the Russians. Yeah, sometimes it was the Russians. Sometimes it wasn't. But they immediately jumped to that conclusion. Like I would jump right now. Well, Fico was killed by, I don't know, the Ukrainian security services. Budanov did it. Or CIA did it. Or I don't know, MI6 did it. Or who knows what. Not Mossad. But anyway, Mossad would have finish the job. They don't shoot blanks. No. They're like Alec Baldwin, like straight bam bam. So here you have him. So if I were to just be like them, it was the West who, these criminals. You see, that tells you what kind of people these guys are. When they don't like the outcome of an democratic elections, you just eliminate it. Now, I'm not supporting these kind of actions. And I don't want to say but or therefore or something like that. Consequences, you see, I avoided that. Consequences for an elected officials for doing something treasonous, but within the law at that point, or maybe not yet, are very minimal. Let's say I am President Biden, and I don't know, issue an executive order. By the time that executive order that I issue right now is going to affect some, I don't know, the globe, not only the Americans, it goes into effect before it gets challenged in the courts by its constitutionality. It takes a long time. Now that long time, let's say until it's struck down, let's say like you see the mandates, I think they were unconstitutional. The mandates regarding, no, I think those were unconstitutional. The same, those things, you can't go over there, you can't go over there, you put that mask mandatory. I think that's my assessment. And those kids and people like us were fucked 2 years, not by the, that thing, by these guys, which I think it was just a test to see how far they can go, humiliating and making sure that they take over this country. It was like a drill. So again, make that, issue that executive order. By the time it gets challenged, you get what, 2-3 years? In 2-3 years, a lot of things happen. And what do? Well, you vote the guy out of the office. But in 3 years, a lot of people could lose their lives. A lot of economies can be screwed, and the society and so on. But hey, you got 3 years. So I think, we need, and don't put that together, okay? The politicians we should have a way, a democratic way, a policy way in which we can keep these guys with the feet on the fire, straight on the freaking, not at the fire, on the fire, which is, some policies. You can't just do it and 3 years you're scot-free, or 4 years, let's say, and then we vote him out. Yeah, but it screwed our society, our future for generations. This guy. That's something that we need to figure out. Then we have Fico shot by someone in the public. Who did it? These guys did it. Anyway, we don't know yet. We wait for the reports. And if that's going to be reported as Nord Stream 1 and if that's going to be investigated as Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 pipelines, terrorist attacks, then you figure it out. If we're going to find who exactly that guy is, and pictures and all that, and connections, blah, 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 maybe it was just a guy who didn't like Fico. Who knows? But if we're going to find out it was a Ukrainian or blah, 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 I will get, again, a little bit more faith in Slovakia's direction with freedom and democracy. All right. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I hope he's going to recover and he's going to be coming back stronger than before. That's it. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.